What's up, everybody? This is Evan with the Lemons with Clemens. Today is going to be a little bit different, and I feel like I keep doing something different every time. I have a drink in hand, and I'm going completely off script. I just wanted to talk to you, talk to everybody, have some thoughts, talk a little bit about stuff that's going on with me, and let's have some fun. I don't have any specific lemon today. But what I do have is some stories, some anecdotes, and some shit to bitch about. All right, I've had a couple drinks. I had a long weekend of work, just like I know a lot of you have. Well, at least if you're going, okay, actually, let's talk about that. Where are all the workers right now? Why is it that you see for sale, or holy shit, not for sale, help wanted signs everywhere? Why? Why are they saying that we're coming out of all this COVID stuff and we should get back on track and unemployment is going down, but there's help wanted everywhere? Everybody is short-staffed, even so me working in a restaurant and everything, even the suppliers everywhere and all the warehouses, all the drivers, all the people that box things, the bottling plants for liquor and beers, the people making the beers, putting them in kegs, transportation, all the supply chain issues, food products of all the restaurants trying to reopen. Nobody can keep up with the supply that's going on because they can't get the help that's needed to get through the day or get through the month or whatever it is. There is so much demand because all these people want things and are going out and have all this money, but there's nobody doing the jobs that there used to be. Where are all these people coming from? Or where did all these people go? And where are all these people coming from? Where did they get that money to do it? That's what I don't get. So we're looking for people to work to help take care of the people that need things. Okay, that's the whole point of work. You're working for a job to make money because you're giving something for people that need something. At the end of the day, that's kind of what it is. People need something. A business offers that need. The workers help supply that need. So if you need all these people, or if all these people need these things, why do they need them? Where are they getting the money from? Is it still coming from the government? Because I thought that there's not as much money coming from the government, so they shouldn't have as much money. Unless everybody, actually did a smart thing with money and saved it, which I highly, highly doubt. So where is everything going? Where are all the people at? And why is there help wanted everywhere? It doesn't matter if it's at a Walmart or at a restaurant or a gas station. The gas stations can't even stay open around where I live. Don't tell me it's all about wages. It's not about wages anymore. Wages are going up everywhere because they're doing anything they can to get workers, and it's not working. Where is everybody at? Anyway, so that's a whole nother thing. So, I've found that family is a super important thing, okay? And hold on a second. If I'm going to talk about this, let's have another drink here. All right, so family is super important. On my father's side, family's always been close-knit. It's a very strong family connection. They used to do dinners every Sunday, holidays all together. All the birthdays were celebrated. On my mother's side, literally the exact opposite. Nobody talked to each other. There was a lot of weird animosity that I can't explain. And I'm not about to even go into my family history because you really don't care about that. What I can tell you about, though, is that, so I went to visit family, okay? And I visited family that, I haven't seen in, I don't even know how long. I had a cousin that I've seen probably in the last 8 years, 6 to 8 years. And that was probably the most recent out of everybody. I had an aunt that I haven't seen since I was 8. I had a cousin that I had never met. And so it was good. It was nice to be able to reconnect with family. And that's actually something I have for another podcast. I have it all written out. I just haven't gotten around to it because I've been busy. But I find family super important, and I think it's incredibly important to connect with family if you have that opportunity, especially long lost family. You never know, because I've started to figure out that I'm actually really interested in the family history. On my father's side, my grandfather passed away, and when going through his stuff, we found a Bible. Okay, there was a Bible, and in the front and in the back of it, written into it, was the entire family history so far written down. And I just thought it was the most interesting thing. It would go into the and it was written almost like I don't know, it was super weird. It was like William, son of, I'm just gonna say Moses. I don't even remember all the names. Like William, son of Moses, married of Catherine, and it would go down the entire list, the lineage of everybody, and what they did about people going on the Oregon Trail, and some people stopping from the Oregon Trail or coming back and staying in Missouri or somewhere else. And I just thought it was super interesting because we went through that and got a little bit of family history that my father had already known a lot of it, but to have it actually written down, and it goes back until like 1860 or something like that, and it's just super interesting, and that's kind of what sparked my interest, I would say, in family history and family lineage. My father got into that ancestry.com stuff, and found out that a long lost grandfather of ours was the mayor of London many, many moons ago. Cool little tidbit. All right. So it actually has me wanting to look into that, but I'm also a little skeptical because I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist where while it's really neat to look that stuff up, what are they also getting? What are they gaining from you putting in your information? They're adding to their database by getting all your information, or like that 23andMe. I'm not giving my fucking DNA to some company. That's a little sketchy to me. And I know some people do it, and I should do it to learn stuff like food allergies or whatever else, but I don't know. I think that's a little sketchy. I don't want to give my DNA to just some random company. Who knows what they're doing with it? Probably making like super soldiers out of our DNA or some shit. I don't know. I'm okay. I'm not that much of a conspiracy theorist. That's a little crazy, but you know what I'm getting at. It's just, I think it's weird if you're going to be you're sending it like a swab of your cheek into some lab randomly. Anyway, so I go and visit some family that I hadn't seen in a while. That's the heart of the story. I'm catching up, and and I don't know why, but once this happened, I was like, I really need to put this on recording. I need to put this on tape. And my cousin, bless her heart, she has no idea anything about this because it's one of those things you don't really bring up. Okay, so me being an older male, middle-aged. Am I middle-aged? What is middle-aged? Is that 40? I'm not 40. If you're in your 30s, what is that? I'd say adult, maybe middle-aged. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So me, a young, handsome adult, is what I'm going to say, go to see my cousin. All right, we'll call her Chelsea. And she lives with her daughter, all right, in a small apartment. Now, me being who I am, at no point do I think it's probably appropriate to go and blow their bathroom up and just smell up this tiny apartment. So, of course, I stopped to take a shit on the way over, okay? And I don't know if she listens to this, and, well, if you do, enjoy the story. So, and you're welcome, by the way. So, first, I stop at a gas station before I go there, and let's relieve myself a little bit. Okay, that sounds weird. That sounds almost gross. Okay, so I take a shit at the gas station. Then I show up. And by the way, that was a weird-ass gas station. It was super creepy. When you go to a gas station, once you go to these nice ones and they have like the nice stalls with automatic flushes and a room with urinals and stuff, and this was just like you walk into an actual bathroom. When you're at a convenience store or a gas station, you walk into an actual bathroom that you open up the door, you have to close it and lock it, and it's just a toilet in there with a sink. That's a first world problem, I understand. Totally first world, but it's super weird when you were traveling, you're just at a Quick Trip with super high tech everything. And by the way, when I was driving one time, they have cologne in a bathroom at a truck stop. That's a little weird. But the samples were fantastic. I'm not going to lie. So anyway, I go and I do my business, go and catch up. Hey, Chelsea, what's up, blah, 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 hang out. And so at this point, between catching up and like seeing an aunt, the reason I was there is because of family that's not doing too well. Okay, so between seeing that family, we would just go, and there was a Mexican place down the street. So all we did is go and, have a margarita or whatever and like eat Mexican food. So at this point, of course, and I'm crashing on my cousin's couch to save money because I'm frugal. We eat Mexican like the entire time I'm there. All right. And anybody that eats Mexican probably understands what it can do to you. And for me also, being a little bit lactose intolerant, fun fact, it also makes things a little smellier and not so bueno, okay? So I am eating Mexican, and I'm letting this brew and just getting it ready because I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do, because I'm not about to do this at their house in a small apartment and just completely destroy any sense of dignity that I have. Okay, if there was any honor in the family, it would be lost if I let this loose within the small apartment. I would never be invited back. There would be a reason, again, for this side of the family not to connect, and I did not want to be that reason. So anyway, it's the day before I leave, and we're catching up with my cousin that we've never met. We've never met this guy. So we're meeting up and catching up with this cousin, and finally we're driving back and forth, trying to figure out what we're doing, seeing my aunt that's not doing too well. We're like, let's go to, and we decided to do Topgolf. I've never been to a Topgolf, and I've always wanted to go, and they had one nearby. Well, my dumbass, never being to a Topgolf and not realizing how busy it always is, apparently, didn't realize that it was going to be on a 2 to 3 hour wait. So once we get there, we're like, hey, we're here. We're going to have a few people. We're just trying to catch up, maybe have a drink or whatever. No, there's a 2-3 hour wait. Well, shit. And we're finally at a public place, and it was the most opportune time. And I turn to my cousin. I say, Chelsea, you call Jacob. Let him know this isn't happening, because he was on his way there. And it was like a 20-minute drive for him. I was like, stop him before he gets here. Go ahead and go out there and call him. I got to go use the restroom real quick. Go ahead and call him and let him know. Let's see if you can come up with a game plan. I'm thinking at this point, because she's going to be on the phone, hopefully making a game plan with this cousin, that it would give enough time to be a decoy to not know how long I was going. But mind you, this was all brewing, so I knew that it wasn't going to be a very long thing anyway. I knew that I was ready to go. I was ready to unleash the beast and be on my way, so it wouldn't seem like I literally took a pit stop to take a shit while I was with my family. Because for some reason, even though it's a natural thing, I didn't want to do that. I feel like it just completely ruins everything. You're catching up with family you haven't seen in literally years. And it's like, yo, I got to go take a shit. So I decided it probably wouldn't be best to make that an announcement or anything like that. So anyway, I go and do my business, and I'm telling you, this shit happened so quick, and that was pun intended. It was amazing. It was one of those where you sit back, you relax, and let it ride, and it did. And I mean, it was quick, to the point. I wasn't there for the festivities on my phone. I was ready to go afterwards. I mean, we're talking one of those where, when a woman goes to the bathroom, because this is the thing with women. Women are very good at planning whenever they take a shit. And this is the thing that, fellas, you don't know, okay? So listen up closely, because I'm about to teach you a lesson. Women do the same thing. They kind of let it brew. The thing is, they all go in because they're all sitting down. And they normally just take a little bit longer anyway. And I think they purposely take a little bit longer, take their time washing their hands, checking themselves in the mirror, doing whatever they need to do. The reason for that is because the times that they do need to go shit, you'll never know the difference. That's how they're so good at it. They'll never let you know unless you have some of the girls that don't care and they're like, yo, I took a shit. But we all do it, okay? It's a natural thing, of course. But women are really good at it and making it not known that that's what they did, because if they take a long time, you know what us guys think? Yo, she's probably on her period. It's one of those, it's weird. So us guys, we just don't put any thought into it. But if you see a guy come out of a restroom after a long time, he's like, yo, nice shit, dude. You know exactly what he did. But if a woman took a long time, it's like, yeah, she's definitely on a period. It's Shark Week. It is definitely, we got to bleed her. So it's weird, the difference. But they purposely are just good at taking their time normally. And then they're just good at knowing when to go. They're not there to go just relax and do business. Because that's, for a guy, that's our only time to go relax. Sitting down, relax for a second, unless you're one of those guys that goes and sits to pee, which I've only done a few times when I've been really hungover. And I'm going to tell you, I wish I sat to pee all the time after that. Because that was actually, when you, like, it's early in the morning, you have that weird wake up where, you wake up and you're just not feeling right, and you woke up too early after a night of drinking. It's like, oh God, I gotta piss. And so you just kind of stumble over into the bathroom, and you could sit there and just awkwardly piss. And then one day I had a realization. It's like, I'm not just gonna stand here and try to hold myself with my hand on the wall ahead of me. It's like, fuck this, I'm sitting down. And man, that was a good idea. And then I realized if I sat down to pee when I was on the phone so they didn't know I was peeing and I continue a conversation, holy shit. I'm giving you guys life hacks right now. You're welcome, by the way. Sit down when you're on the phone to pee. They won't know you're peeing. The only problem is the flush afterwards, and that's whenever you wait for a time when they start talking, mute it, flush it, walk out, put it off on mute. You're welcome, by the way. Anyway, so I am in the Topgolf bathroom using the restroom, dignity attached still. What do? I go to reach for toilet paper, obviously. None there. Nobody in the restroom either be like, help me out. What do? I'm not about to, because at that moment, if this were a moment where I could just like weirdly skedaddle to the next stall for toilet paper, maybe I would. But of course, that'd be the time when I open up the stall door and then somebody walks in and I'm just there, just letting it all hang. Nobody needs that. I don't need that. That is just, you're talking about a loss of honor. Holy shit. So I am in that restroom. There is no toilet paper. I promise you, this is a true story. And I shouldn't tell this because anybody that knows me is going to just probably point and laugh at me for the rest of my life. But true story. So I am frantic at this point. I don't know what to do. I wait for a second. I was like, I can't wait too long because they're going to know it's going to be super weird at that point. I'm in power mode now. I'm in Topgolf mode. I'm in the premier mindset. What do? I gotta think quick. Am I gonna use my underwear, toss it up, throw it away? No, fuck that. I'm not doing that, because then you don't know if you wipe it all and you're gonna get it on your pants underneath, and what if it sees through? These are the thoughts that are going through my head. I overthink everything, by the way, okay? So I can't use that, because if it rubs off onto my pants, maybe it comes through, then I just smell and it's super awkward. I can't do this. So what do I do next? Okay, I look around. What am I gonna do? What if, and I look over, I have one other option. There's one option that I have. That option is the weirdly super tissue paper thin liners that you can put on a seat so that you don't touch the toilet seat whenever you sit down. By God, I took that chance. And I also realized that how thin it actually was, and it really was like tissue paper, because let me tell you, after my deed was done, also ripping it up for several layers to make this work, and if you need a tip for this, fold it, rip it, do whatever it takes, because holy shit, that will just bust right through if you're trying to do a wipe. And I was probably scrubbing my hands in the sink just as long as I was wiping my ass. Okay, probably actually longer scrubbing, to be honest. But thankfully, Chelsea had some very nice smelling hand sanitizer in her car already. It was already planned, I feel like, because I felt like that stink was still lingering, and that was awkward. So that is a true story of that. Anyway, So no, that's an absolutely true story. And it was a very awkward situation because when you come back out and they're on the phone when I come back out, and it's her and her daughter. And I mean, they don't look at me funny, but I'm also self-conscious at this point because I had literally the worst experience possible in that restroom. And hopefully all those toilet seat liners flush fine. And if not, I'm sorry, Topgolf. So I'm out there, and it's just such a weird situation. But she didn't notice, and we ended up just going back to her place and, watching some TV and just kind of catching up before I ended up leaving anyway. So it wasn't a big deal. But mind you, as a man that, thinks that you probably shouldn't stink up somebody's house or apartment, there's some tips and tricks for you all. But speaking of which, so yes, when I was on a traveling trip, there was a traveling trip. What the fuck? I was on a road trip and I stopped at a truck stop because truck stops are the best place to stop. They have the best restrooms, by the way. But it was only for like 50 cents. You got literally a single use cologne. And there was like different kinds in it too. It was the weirdest thing ever. It was like some like Calvin Klein. It wasn't Gucci, but there was like something else, like well-known names. I don't even remember now, but I just thought it was the most odd thing. Could you imagine just like a burly trucker walking into this, restroom, taking a massive dump because they just got done eating some B&Gs, some biscuits and gravy. For those that don't know B&Gs, for the record, B&Gs give you the B&Gs. All right, that's some bubble guts if you don't know what the B&Gs are. That's 2 different B&Gs. Keep up, everybody. So if you have a trucker letting loose in the toilet, maybe that's a good idea because you don't want them to come out smelling like that anyway. So maybe that is a good idea. What I do know is that trip was super weird because my brother also told me, when I told him about this, he's asked me if I had done a 2 stomps and a knock. I said, what are you talking about? What do you mean 2 stomps and a knock? What the hell are you? And my dad, he was a trucker for the longest time, just started laughing his ass off. He had a little, okay, not for the longest time. He had a little spurt of trucking, him and his brother, my uncle, where they just went across the country doing some trucking business and apparently had the time of their lives. But apparently, if you're at a truck stop or a rest stop, is that what it is? A rest stop? When it's just the restrooms on the side of the highway. If you're outside of a stall or something like that and you do 2 stomps and a knock, and it's apparently code to, I guess, fill in the blank. I really didn't ask any questions. I wasn't 100% sure, but I only assumed the worst, to be fair. So 2 stomps and a knock is another fun fact. Anyway, so what I've realized over my time of this last couple weeks, I know I haven't been doing a lot of podcasts, but this whole thing of no workers, obviously I bitched about that a little bit, but where are they? Where are they? Because I don't see anybody saying I'm looking for work on Facebook. So is everybody on my Facebook already working? Or is everybody enjoying their summer? And this is actually what I started telling people. I wonder if because of COVID this year, everybody's just enjoying their summer and they're not getting out. They're not, I don't mean not getting out. If they're not going back to work. They didn't actually get to enjoy last year, so they're trying to live it up as much as they can while the weather's nice before they have to go back to work, back to school, or whatever. And I'm hoping that's what it is. But as somebody that also plays in the stock market and watches the markets and reads the news, the way that everything's looking does not look like it's going to be great come this fall. Now, if you're interested in me doing something about the stock market or money or current affairs, of course, I would love to. There's a lot of information I have. But again, it's hard to make a lot of these podcasts and not get political. I actually have a podcast. I'm going to be releasing probably a snippet of it the quality of the audio just kind of fell off. I had some technical difficulties. But it was with my brother who is in the National Guard, and we ended up having a conversation about where we are today as America because I visited him on July 4th. And you can actually hear fireworks in the background because we did it at the end of the night, but you can still hear it. But the conversation gets a little bit political, and it made me nervous to put it out because you never know anymore. It's hard to have a conversation about a lot of things because a lot of things become so political and so divided, and that's where our world has become. Or it's what we're turning into, at least. It's a left versus right, radicals, leftists versus extremist rightists or alt-right or whatever. There's so many things that it's just dividing us as a country, as a people, as a society, and it makes it harder to have a real conversation or a true conversation, or even if it's about something that you're genuinely interested in, because I think all of us give a shit about where we live and what we're doing with our life, but it makes it very difficult for us to just have a normal conversation. So my brother and I have a conversation, and I honestly thought it went really well, except that we had been drinking all day. Well, not all day, but all night. And after the audio bullshit that we did, because I tried to travel with my microphones to try to make it work, and it went well, but there was something that just, I don't know what happened, but it just kind of cut off. And so I don't want to just like release a podcast that's just like half-assed and it's like it just randomly cuts. But I might release it just as a fun thing because we talked about redoing it just so that we can have that conversation. But it does get a little political because we're talking about who we are as a country now and where we're going and what we're doing and where the difference is. And so I think there are a lot of things worth discussing, but I just get so nervous about it because with how things are now, you think there's that idea of cancel culture. There's that idea of wokeism. You can't say certain things because it pisses off certain people, and if the right people or enough of the right people get pissed off, they make sure that nobody listens to you again or does anything again. And if you want a future in the business of entertainment, whether it be podcasts or movies or music or what have you, you don't want to piss off those people. So when I'm thinking about the future of what I want to do I actually want to release anything that could be political, that could piss off the wrong side? It doesn't matter if you're right or left at that point. Everybody gets pissed off. But I do find, actually, I was going to say that extreme people on the left, like the extreme Democrats or whatever, or socialist, or I don't know what you even call it anymore, they seem to get more pissed off. But at the same time, they're not the ones being like, well, I'm going to get my gun. So, I mean, you can't win either way. So, I don't know. Because you either have the people that just cancel you or the people that riot at the Capitol. Who knows? What I do know is that I want to give you the content that you like. Half of the stuff that I've mentioned today alone, other than like the shit stories and random stuff, are different podcast ideas. I want to talk about family. I want to talk about the military. I want to talk about our country. I want to talk about minimum wage. I want to talk about life as we know it. And that's the problem. We cannot have the hard conversation anymore. We can't have a conversation just about life anymore. Because if you have any opinion on it, it just means you are right or left. And that's not fair. You can't just have an opinion. And you might be a Democrat, but you might have an opinion that leans right, and then you're canceled. Or if you might be a Republican and you have an opinion that leans left, and you're a Democrat. And then everybody just hates you, and it's just bullshit. Did you know, here's another fun fact, life tip, It's absolutely possible to have differing opinions. And did you know that you can be a fiscal conservative, but a social liberal? You can think that we shouldn't spend money as a government, but it's okay for people to be gay and transsexual and be okay with abortion and social liberal ideas. But maybe you don't want money to be spent on stupid shit. Maybe not fund certain things that support those things, but still accept it. It's possible to do that. We're not. This isn't a world where it's just black and white. And for some reason, in the last few years, it's turned into black or white. Honestly, I could continue to go on. I'm sure you would like that because I'm just talking a bunch of bullshit. If you want to hear more things like this where I'm just rambling about bullshit off script without anything other than just random shit on my mind and a drink in my stomach, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. Pocket Casts is a thing. It came up on my analytics actually on when I was looking at my stuff. It's on Pocket Casts. Androids, iPhones, PCs, and other. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. It turns out analytics are very interesting to look at. I have a less than 1% demographic in India, so shout out to you, India person. That's badass. Everybody else is in the USA, just for anybody that wanted to know. I think you all probably realized that, but I just thought it was incredibly interesting. Otherwise, thank you all for listening. This is Evan with Clemens.